Hello everybody, this is going to be a quick video showing you how you can get VMware for free as a BYU student, and then how to install Windows 10 in a virtual machine using VMware on your Mac. So go ahead and you'll want to go to software.byu.edu, and then once that loads up, just click VMware over here on the left. Go ahead and hit add to cart. If this isn't available, you may have to add it to the cart. If not, go ahead and hit download now. Hit I agree. Um, if you have to add it to the cart, go ahead and step through the cart. It's pretty easy. Eventually, it'll allow you to download it. So you'll just come here. When you hit download, rather than downloading it directly, it'll bring you to this page. Go ahead and hit plus here. Hit VMware for Students 2016. So go ahead and click Continue to External Site. Now, since you're logged in over here, if you just hit Sign In, it should automatically log you in. So we'll go ahead and hit VMware, and then the version you want is VMware Fusion 10. So go ahead and click this. Now it's not going to allow me to do this since I've already downloaded this, but if you hit Add to Cart, it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain everything, but we'll just add it to the cart here and check out. It won't ask you, it's free, so it won't ask you even for any payment information. It'll just allow you to download it. Now, it will give you a serial number for your version of VMware, and you're going to want to make sure you take note of that, copy it down somewhere, because it should ask you for that during the installation process. So go ahead and keep track of that, and once you download it, I trust that everybody knows how to install the software. It's pretty easy. Just open up your download. That's when it'll ask you for your serial number while you're getting that set up. So once you go ahead and get that set up, I already have it installed. So this is what you should see. The window you should see once you get it all installed is a window that looks like this. So we're going to be installing from a disk image. So you're going to need a copy of Windows, which you should be able to get now for free. Hopefully that's working all for you through the BYU DreamSpark, through your Learning Suite emails. You should be able to get a copy of this. Let us know if you are struggling. One thing to note, make sure when you're doing this that you have a full copy of Windows. If you're using the BYU DreamSpark version, you're going to have the education version. Make sure they also have other versions like IoT, I think is one of them, which is basically for embedded chips. So it's not like a full desktop version of Windows. So just make sure that you have a full version, whether you have the education version that you got for free or the professional, whatever you have, home, whatever you have, make sure that it's a full version of Windows, and that it's a .iso file. So once you have your copy of Windows, it's pretty easy. You can just pull it up. Probably the easiest thing to do is just, well, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We are installing from a disk image, so you will hit continue, and then you'll get to this page. Now there's two ways to do this. It already sees mine since I'm running it, but you can just drag it in here like that, or you should be able to navigate to it and find it that way as well. One thing to note, it's important that you keep this ISO file on your computer. If you delete it, it'll remove your virtual machine. So make sure you keep that so that VMware can find it. I just threw it in a folder that's on my desktop. So once you have that selected, you'll go ahead and hit continue. Now you're also going to need, here it'll ask you for an account name. Obviously you're going to be the administrator. Go ahead and hit put in a password that you'll remember, of course. Perfect. Oh yeah, and another side note, just keep this checked. This is easiest, it's what I recommend. You can go in and customize some things later if you need to, but I would just keep that checked. It's the most simple way to get it done, and it will work. So next thing you'll need to do is make sure you have your Windows product key. Um, that would be provided to you from the BYU DreamSpark page if that's where you got your copy of Windows. Now, after you paste that in there, you'll want to choose what version. Again, if you're using the DreamSpark, it'll be Education. So I'll go ahead and pause this video and paste my key in there and hit continue, and then I'll resume the video after I've done that. So 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So after you do that, you'll get this page. And my preference is more seamless. You might prefer more isolated. Basically, the difference is this will allow you to share files across Windows and your Mac. So kind of what appears on your Windows or your Mac desktop, you'll be able to see on your Windows desktop. I like that integration. You might not like that, so maybe you want more isolated. This is what I recommend. This is what I use. So I'm going to say more seamless. I'll hit continue, and you can just see here, you can customize settings later. So I would just hit finish. Boom. Go ahead and do that. Hit save, and you're good to go. You can boot that up just like that. And it'll just install Windows, and from there you got yourself a copy of Windows. We'll let this boot up for a minute, and I'll go ahead and pause it, or maybe it's done. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Once this setup is done, I'll go ahead and unpause it. Okay, so it's done. It might take a little bit, but once it runs through all that setup stuff, you'll have this. You can just log in with the credentials you used when you set it up, and voila! Windows 10 in all its glory running on your Mac. So yeah, you can make that full screen, obviously. It'll adjust the display, and yeah, there you go. You're free to go ahead and guess you're gonna have to start off by using Microsoft Edge. You can get on the internet and go download Visual Studios. Now, one last thing I kind of want to show you guys before I end this video is just a couple of the things you can customize. Sorry, sometimes, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller again. And in order to make these customizations, you're going to need to shut down Windows. So I'm just going to say shut down. And then yeah, it might take a little bit to shut down, but basically what I want to be able to show you guys how to do is how you can allocate more RAM or more of your hardware, basically how many processors you want to allocate and how much RAM you want Windows to be able to use. So once you have that shut down, it has to be shut down in order for you to make any of these changes. You'll hit this little icon right there, and you can go to processors and memory, and you can kind of tell it, I mean, it depends obviously on what your computer is like. It'll have recommended settings kind of based on how much RAM and how many processors you have. So I have a quad core processor with 16 gigs of RAM. On mine, I think I'm using no, I'm using 8 gigs is what I've allocated. So I gave it kind of a lot, but that's not necessary. You can just leave it at the recommended if you want. You should be fine. So yeah, there you go. You can play with that if you want. All of you will have different computers, so this is at least where you can play with it, and then you can save that. So there you go. Let us know if you have any questions. More than willing to help. Hopefully this video helps you out. Thanks, guys. Bye.